Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I love finding affordable ways to DIY a variety of things. Money can't buy everything, except maybe figures. I love collecting figures and recreating iconic scenes. Every figure deserves to shine on my display. So every week I ask myself the same question, and answer it by creating something I'm proud of. Join my weekly adventure by subscribing to my channel. Leave your feedback and suggestions down below. I often get inspired by your comments, and I hope I can inspire you too. Today, I'm gonna fix Sylvie from Loki on Disney+. When the show aired, I was really excited about having a Sylvie figure, but I think overall, the figure is a bit underwhelming. Even though her cloak is removable, she still looks a bit plain. But why? Let's deconstruct this figure. First, I noticed that the texture is off. In the show, she's clearly wearing a fabric inner garment and then an outer layer of gear that's made out of leather or rubber. But when looking at the figure, the sheen is off. The inner garment is semi-glossy and the outer layer is matte. I think that's what makes it feel weird. The inner layer looks plastic, therefore even more toy-like. So I can fix and differentiate the texture, it should look more natural. Next, her hair is one shade of yellow. In the show, her hair has more range. It's darker at the roots and gradually gets more blonde at the tips. And finally, her cloak is too green. The colors they used make it look more like a raincoat she threw on rather than a part of her outfit. In the show, it's more fabric-like and it's pretty dark. So I think a wash of black should do the trick. That's my analysis. It doesn't mean this figure isn't great. I just wanted to make it even better. So, can I make it? Let's start with the body. First, I want to make the inner garment darker, so I'm going to go over it with a wash of black. That way, the outer armor would stand out more. Visually, our eyes perceive lighter colors to be on top, or on the outside, whereas darker colors sink to the back. Like how we see shadows. So that's what I'm going for, pushing the inner garment quote-unquote inwards while bringing the outer armor outwards. Hope that makes sense. Now I've been testing various finishes on my figures. I usually don't apply any finishes unless it's for a glossy finish. That's because acrylic paint dries matte, which is what I like most of the time. But in this case, because the cloak is kinda stiff and makes direct contact with her arms, I want to make sure the paint is protected from scrapes and scratches. So I'm going to apply a layer of matte finish on the inner garment. This will act as a barrier between the cloak and the paint, protecting it from minor scratches and scrapes. Okay, this isn't really dry matte. It has a little bit of sheen to it. I think it'll be fine. Next, I'm going to fix the upside down gold arch on her chest, just filling it out with a bit of gold paint. And adding a bit of gold to the top of her sleeves. They're very minor, but I think it'll complete the look. And now, I'm going to apply a varnish to make them look shinier. I've been using this on a lot of my figures, such as Thor, Vision, John Walker's Shield, Venom, Iron Man, etc. So I feel confident in recommending this. All you need is a few drops. It dries glossy and isn't sticky once dried. If you're interested, I've included an Amazon affiliate link in the video description. Just so you know, if you decide to get one yourself through my link, I may collect commission from Amazon. I've also included a link for the matte varnish as well. Thanks for your support, I really appreciate it. I hope you find the links useful too. Okay, I also painted her neck and added a gold trim on her collar. You can totally skip this step because it's barely visible once you pop the head back on. I'm also going to seal it in with the varnish just to protect it from the head rubbing against it. And finally, for the cloak, I'm going to go over it with a wash of black, darkening the green and mattifying the texture, making it look almost black, but not completely black. And for the lighter green here, I don't like how bright and reflective it is, so I'm going to dull it down too. but I want to keep it relatively green so there's a bit more contrast, and make it look more like fabric and less like rubber. I also left the hood untouched just to give it more layers. Okay, time to work on the head. The face is pretty good, a little bit too pale in my opinion, so she looks unpainted from afar. So first, I'm going to add a tiny bit of shading to her face, to give her face a bit more dimension. Now for her hair, it needs to have more range when it comes to color. The area around the roots should be darker. Hair is tricky to paint because hair generally reflects light from various directions, and the way it shines changes when the head's turned. But light and shadow still applies when it comes to hair. The area that sinks in should be darker, and the hair on top should be lighter. It just shouldn't be one shade of yellow. And for her crown, I'm going to add a bit of gold to it so it looks less like plastic and a bit more metallic. Alright, here's the head all finished. It's not perfect. I don't think she looks all that screen accurate, but she looks more like a real person now. There's weight to her hair. Here she is with her cloak. Oh wow, she looks so much better like this. Just like her hair, there's weight to the figure now. The painted cloak looks so much more natural, and it goes with her overall outfit so much better. And there's still enough green for her to be Loki-like. Let's have a closer look. I really like how she looks with the cloak. I think Sylvie pulls it off really well. And now, the moment of truth. Let's see if the paint on her arms got rubbed off. Ooh, everything looks good still. I wasn't exactly gentle. And the gold trims on her sleeves are still there. Nice. And you can still see the difference in texture. The pants are a bit glossier than I wanted, so maybe I could have skipped the varnish on her pants. But the rest is good. The inner garment and the outer armor makes more sense as a whole now. And the darker tones work really well with the gold crown and her hair. The contrast makes everything pop more. Okay, time to take some photos. Ooh, I really like how it turned out. There's a lot of personality to Sylvie. Oh, you can see her neck here. Yay! Effort not wasted. I'm getting a bit of a sneaking suit vibe, like she's an assassin. What do you think? Do you like what I've done? Let me know. Here she is with her cloak. Okay, the cloak restricts her from doing any sort of poses, but I really like the look. It just looks right. It fits her character so well. It adds a bit of a softer side to her personality. Now of course, I had to put her with a male counterpart, Loki. They are perfect for each other. This Loki figure isn't great by himself, but he looks so much more alive as Sylvie. I fixed this Loki a while back. The color of his jacket and pants were off. I also added some life back to his face. Check that video out if you haven't already. And I also made a time door using plastic lids. A good prop to use for Loki and Sylvie. Which version of Sylvie do you prefer, with or without the cloak? I think I still prefer the cloak. So I'm gonna display her cloaked with Loki. And all his variants. Ooh, they look perfect together. 5 different Lokis together, yet they look like one as a whole. Okay, this is where I need your help. I can leave them like this, but when I built this Loki display, I made it modular. Because I made it before the show's finale and before Sylvie's figure was announced. So my question to you is, if I were to update this display, what scene should I recreate? I feel like there are 3 options. 1. TVA's elevator door scene. That would be the most screen accurate. 2. The scene on Lamentus 1. It's probably the most memorable scene from the show, but I'll have to turn the figures the other way to see their faces. Or 3. The end of time scene, but without He Who Remains. This one is a bit off because Loki wasn't wearing the jacket anymore at this point, and it may not be as visually interesting to recreate this room. Which scene do you want me to recreate? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can see what I come up with. I also have more Marvel content coming out. Stay inspired, and I'll see you next week. I can make it, so can you.